The price above a petrol pump looks local. It stands beside a road in Hamilton, Dunedin, or Whangarei. The payment leaves a New Zealand bank account. The fuel goes into a car registered here. Yet 3 invisible prices reached that sign before the driver did. One was set in an overseas fuel market. One came from the value of the New Zealand dollar. One was built through taxes, transport, storage, and competition at home. This is the fact worth keeping. New Zealand drivers do not buy barrels of Brent crude. They buy imported, finished petrol in New Zealand dollars. Brent can warn that pressure is coming, but it cannot tell you the pump price on its own. That difference became vivid on July 24, 2026. Brent crude reached 100 United States dollars a barrel. The Gaspy national average for 91 petrol was close to $2.90 a litre. 2 months earlier, local prices had been near $3.30. It was tempting to look at one line rising on an oil chart and assume the number at the station would soon rise by the same amount. The journey is much less direct. Follow one imaginary litre backwards. It enters your tank as 91 petrol. Before that, a truck brought it from a storage terminal. Earlier, a ship carried it from a refinery, usually somewhere in Asia. At that refinery, crude oil was turned into a product made to meet fuel standards. The crude may have come from another country again. New Zealand used to perform part of this chain at Marsden Point. The refinery there supplied around 70% of the country's fuel. It stopped refining in March 2022 and became an import terminal. Since then, New Zealand's petrol, diesel and jet fuel have arrived as finished products from overseas refineries. That change makes the distinction between crude and petrol especially important. Brent is a widely watched price for a kind of crude oil. It can rise when traders fear that future oil supply will be tight. War, sanctions, production cuts, shipping danger, or strong global demand can all move it. But a New Zealand importer needs a different thing. The importer needs refined petrol delivered to this country. Refineries have their own limits. A shortage of refining capacity can make finished petrol expensive even when crude changes less. Shipping has a price. Insurance has a price. Fuel quality has a price. A dangerous sea route can affect all three. The Commerce Commission therefore tracks an estimated refined product cost. That estimate includes the cost of producing and importing fuel with refining and shipping. It uses international benchmark information for refined products rather than treating Brent as the whole bill. Now place a foreign exchange screen beside the oil screen. International fuel is generally priced in United States dollars. A New Zealand company earns most of its money in New Zealand dollars. If our dollar becomes weaker against the United States dollar, the same overseas cargo costs more here. If our dollar strengthens, it can soften part of an international rise. Suppose the overseas price does not move at all. A weaker New Zealand dollar can still raise the local import cost. Now suppose Brent falls. If the currency weakens at the same time, some of that relief can disappear before the ship reaches port. This is why a television headline about a barrel and a roadside sign can seem to disagree without either number being false. They are different points in a moving chain. The chain also moves through time. Fuel at a station was not bought from the world market 5 minutes before you lifted the nozzle. Companies hold stock. Ships are ordered. Cargoes arrive on different dates. Retailers may be selling fuel bought under earlier conditions while arranging the next supply under new ones. In its July 2026 monitoring, the Commerce Commission used a 14-day rolling average to show the underlying refined fuel cost. It did that because a single-day spot price can jump around with trading and shipping timing. Think of the rolling average as the tide, and the daily price as a wave. A wave matters. The tide tells you more about where the water is staying. This delay works in both directions. When world costs rise suddenly, a station may not pass through the whole rise at once. When costs fall suddenly, the pump may not fall at once either. Inventory bought earlier is still moving through tanks and terminals. After the imported litre arrives, New Zealand costs join it. Petrol carries fuel excise duty. Most of that excise supports the National Land Transport Fund, which helps pay for the transport system. There is an Accident Compensation Corporation levy and a small fuel monitoring levy. The emissions trading system places a carbon cost on the companies importing liquid fossil fuels. Goods and services tax is added as well. On July 13, 2026, the main National Land Transport excise on a litre of 91 petrol was a little over 70 cents before goods and services tax. That amount did not rise merely because Brent moved overnight. It is set through New Zealand policy. Then come terminal handling, storage, trucking, station wages, rent, equipment, payment fees, discounts, and the return a business tries to earn. The gap between refined cost and retail price is often called a spread. It is easy to call the whole spread profit. That shortcut is wrong. The spread includes profit, but it also has to carry those domestic costs. For the period from late February to July 21st, 2026, the Commerce Commission calculated an average daily price cost spread of 49 cents a litre for regular 91. The comparable figures for the same part of the previous 3 years were between 46 and 52 cents. That comparison did not prove every station charged a fair price. It showed why one large-looking gap could not be labelled profit without examining what sat inside it. Local competition creates the final twist. Two stations can face similar international costs and display different prices. One may have an unmanned site with lower operating costs. One may face a strong low-cost rival across the road. Another may serve a small town with fewer competitors and longer delivery routes. Loyalty discounts can make the large board price look less important, while also making customers less likely to compare the actual amount paid. The Commerce Commission's fuel market study found that weak wholesale competition had harmed the market. The Fuel Industry Act later introduced rules intended to improve wholesale access and price transparency. World markets explain much of the movement. They do not remove the need to watch competition inside New Zealand. A driver cannot control a refinery, a war, or the exchange rate. There are still two useful things to do. Compare nearby stations by the final price, not the advertised discount. And when a fuel headline appears, ask which link in the chain has moved. Was it crude oil? Was it refined petrol? Was it the New Zealand dollar? Was it tax? Was it shipping, inventory, or local competition? The answer will rarely be only one. That roadside number is the last page of a travel diary. It records an oil field, a refinery, a currency market, an ocean crossing, a government tax system, a storage tank, a truck route, and a contest between stations. Brent at $100 is a loud first chapter. The pump is where all the quieter chapters add up.